if I'm a company and I just want to be mentioned in the media, why should I care if it's paid, if it's organic, as long as I'm there? What's the difference?
You need to go out of the bubble of the company that you're building and have a look at the market.
PR is notably hard to measure. How do you know when an agency is good or when your PR results are working? How do you measure the success?
This is the moment where everything goes wrong.
Welcome to Known, where tech brand builders share their journeys and teach you how to build your own. My name is Stella Fries, and today I'm interviewing Anastasiia Kulibaba. Anastasiia started her journey in journalism and crossed over to communications, where she helped over 40 plus companies across tech, crypto, fintech establish a strong presence in global markets. In this episode, we'll discuss the most common misconceptions about PR, whether buying articles is good for your brand or not, what are the biggest communications mistakes that companies make, and what is the future of PR and communications with AI. Let's dive in. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. You?
I'm doing amazing. Very happy to be doing this with you today. So I'm going to call you Nastya because this is how I usually call you. So,
Of
yeah.
course.
All
Of
right.
course. I'm Nastya as well.
Nastya, our chief of comms, please explain to us what exactly is organic PR and what's the difference when we hear organic PR with like earned media. Is this the same thing?
Thank you for having me. I'm really glad that we have this opportunity to speak about misconceptions around PR because we hear them a lot. And about earned media, organic coverage, these are two terms that explain the same thing. The main difference between organic PR or earned media from paid media is that you're not paying to get coverage. So organic PR and earned media is the term to explain when you're getting covered by the journalist or editor who is working in the media, and they do it organically because you're cool, because you're doing great things on the market, and you're relevant to the market nowadays.
All right, but what do they get out of this then if they don't get paid? Because a lot of people think that everything is paid media. So how does it work?
Yeah, I love that phrase. I hear it a lot from some of the people that I meet in the industry. But no, like journalists, it's their job to find interesting stories and tell them to people. And journalism exists for how many years? Like hundreds of years. And this is their job to find the story that will resonate with the market. And that's exactly why they're doing it, and they're paid for it, but not from the people that will have sponsored content in media. They're looking for stories, and that's why journalists need PR people, and they are always in search for different voices that will explain things on the market, and they will tell stories to the people that they target as media outlets. And every media outlet have their own niche, or they are targeting specific people, readers or listeners to the podcasts or other like formats like of news that they produce, and they just want to hear opinions from people that do great stuff.
Okay. But actually, what's the difference? If I'm a company and I just want to be mentioned in the media, why should I care if it's paid, if it's organic, as long as I'm there? What's the difference?
So the difference is that earned media is the only way how to get third-party validation from the journalist who is working in the space. And if they cover you organically, if the earned media is there, it means that you are doing the things that are needed. Because journalists, when they cover some specific news, they're understanding like what are the needs on the market, because they're speaking to the audience and they see the feedback, they hear different stories, and they understand what will get noticed,
What will
like
resonate
where
with
the
their
attention
audience?
will go. Yeah. So this is the only way how to build the reputation on the market. If you're paying for like getting something published, this way of promoting your company, it also makes sense, but for different goals. PR, organic PR, is for reputation building. It's kind of like an infrastructure for the reputation and brand management for the long term. And then when you pay for PR, you are getting volume. You can also control the narrative that you are pushing out there. But it's not giving you anything rather than volume. And also, I can tell that nowadays people really understand when it's sponsored or not, because in every media outlet
think
you will
so?
have. Yeah, I think so, because there are special sections on the websites, on media outlets, where you see sponsored content. You have press releases from a lot of companies just getting published one by one. And the way they're structured, you can feel as a customer that this is the promotional story. And that's how you will not feel
Trust.
yeah, maybe it's the way to explore things. But I think that nowadays, when we have so much content, like, our attention, to grab it, you need to push something really, really relatable to people. And I have doubts that it will be the story promoting the product or the
Right.
company.
When companies say that they want PR, what are they actually thinking they're buying versus what are they actually building?
I think that companies mostly think that they are buying articles. And this is where our conversation about paid PR and organic PR comes, because in organic PR, it works a bit differently. When you pitch someone, when you pitch the company, you have some specific targets in mind, and they should be relevant to the niche where company operates. Let's say when it's a tech company that is doing something with AI, they want to be visible in tech outlets. And we as a PR agency will pitch them there, but we can't guarantee that you will go live on TechCrunch or some other outlet that is publishing stories about AI. But we will have them as a target and one of the targets. So our job will be to build that reputation that I started with, to craft the narratives, to build the messaging, and then to make sure that this messaging is published in different outlets that are relevant for the company. And the outcome will not be measured just by the number of publications that the company think they're buying,
Right.
but it's also the visibility on the market, it's also the reputation. And I think the most important part here is that when your partner or your lead will go and search about you, they will need to understand what are your beliefs and what you as a company is building on the market and why your solution is important.
Right.
Not just like the products that you're releasing, but also how you implement those solutions and what are the problems that you are solving. So it's more about the narratives, the messaging that you are pushing, and the reputation that
Right.
comes after it.
So you're not just buying articles,
Yeah.
you are building a reputation.
Exactly.
All right. And there's something that you said here that I really want to pick up on. You mentioned measuring PR, which is something which is notably difficult. And a lot of PR agencies, honestly, are not doing a great job and taking kind of advantage of the fact that their results can't be measured. And this led to a lot of issues because I remember when I used to be pitching our services, I was always telling to people, I feel like, I'm the good PR agency, like the good guy coming after your heart has been broken so many times by the bad guy. Now you don't trust any of us. So yeah, PR is notably hard to measure. How do you know when an agency is good or when your PR results are working? How do you measure the success?
Yeah, it is a complicated question, honestly. And I switched from journalist to marketing, and I was able to track a lot of things and measure them, because when you work in social media or with digital ads, you have all of these metrics available. It's very easy to track if your ad worked or not, and you can test different things. With PR, it's different. And like, this is something that I would love to help presenting with the numbers, but unfortunately it's just not possible.
So what do you use then?
Yeah, so these are more not quantitative metrics, but it's about quality. So when we work with a company, we need to understand what are their real goals, because I think that no one just wants to
Be mentioned in the media just for the sake
this
of
is
it.
not the goal. Usually you want to be perceived somehow on the market. For founders is about reputation for themselves, to be a thought leader in the space, to be visible, to then get some inbound requests from conference organizers to speak on stage.
Yeah,
So I think,
investments as well.
so investment, this is one of the reasons and one of the common requests that we have, right? Like when company is looking to get funded, they want to present themselves and they want to build good presence for the founder and also say that they have a good traction. And this is a really good goal where like with which to go to a PR agency.
Right.
So all of them are quality metrics, not quantity. Of course, we can measure the number of monthly visitors of the websites that covered your company. We also can see what are the syndications and the overall, like
What's a
the
syndication?
visibility. Syndication is where your content is getting reprinted by other outlets. So it can be, for example, the article on CoinDesk, and then CoinDesk article will be reprinted by different aggregators, like Yahoo Finance usually publishes something that was published in CoinDesk, and then smaller outlets will pick it up and
Okay.
publish as syndications or just reprint it, or maybe create their own story based on what CoinDesk has published. So
Okay.
this
So
will
you
make you like more
virality,
Yeah.
basically.
And by the way, this is the only thing that is possible with earned media. You can't do it or get it with paid PR
Okay.
because you pay just for one piece of coverage and that's it. And then when you have a real story to tell, then you will have all of these syndications.
So we've actually been in these situations with clients where they end up basically getting even more coverage in terms of quantity because they have received a lot of syndications and reprints, rewrites, and so on. Okay.
I think that's almost every tier 1, tier 2 outlet. They have a bit more coverage in them than just one piece because they are trustworthy resources and others will look for them, like what are they publishing, and they just want to tell the similar story with their own words. But like getting back also to the metrics or how to measure PR and how to measure the result of it, we can do also the SOV, which is a share of voice for the companies. And this is also not only about numbers, but about the understanding of the goals of the companies that do PR and what are the quality metrics that you can include there. So let's say when one company wants to own some narrative, we can see how their competitors, like where's their place in that narrative and how our company is performing there. So then in some time, in 3 months, for example, we can have a look and see how we like where we are.
Yeah.
Usually it's very different, like when we are starting with some project and then in 3 months how
So you can really measure the evolution of the visibility of the companies that we're working with over time. Can you actually share an example where a PR campaign contributed to moving the needle for a business or has some kind of tangible business value?
Yeah, for sure. I want to start with something that we do a lot right now. These are reports and surveys for the clients that bring a lot of value, not only in PR, but also beyond it. So a really good way how to get journalists' attention is to give them some insights and data that is not visible in the market. And we did a few researches for a few clients, and all of them are getting really good visibility in media. But also, then we see that it makes their leads or clients or partners speak about them, but highlighting the data that was introduced in the report.
Right.
Also, companies are using the data to go to conferences and present it from stage, which gives them an amazing opportunity to have some data to support the narrative and not just speak about how cool we are, but also, again, like give an understanding of what they're building is actually cool. And here are some data points that will support that. Also, the companies are sometimes include their partners to be a part of the research. And that's where we see a lot of value, like business value, because they can strengthen relationship between their partners and them when they publish something together. Another thing is reputation building or even the crisis management with PR. We had cases when, let's say, founder who is doing great things, they had some complexity or fraud that were was coming from the other project they built in the past.
Some controversy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so PR, strategic PR that has like a strategy and also like written narratives and also the position from the founder. It gives you an opportunity to switch the narrative and become a thought leader from the person who was perceived as a bad person because of FUD. So we had cases like this, and of course it affects like
The company.
business, and the company. And then the other case, which is very unique, is that we had a client who is doing tokenization for sustainability projects. And we published just one article in Cointelegraph. And from that one article, they received like 5 inbound requests for partnerships. I can tell you that this is like very unique, and that's not something that we need to expect from every coverage that we do.
Yeah.
Obviously, because in the end, it's not the right approach how you would expect to get like direct leads.
Right.
PR is not created for that, but it can work like that as well if you have great cases to present to the market, and we had this exact experience.
Okay. In your opinion, what separates PR that creates noise versus the PR that actually contributes to creating this credibility and contributes to the business growth?
I think that the PR that creates noise is usually focused on the company rather on the market and the value that it brings. So, like with paid PR or mostly it's about paid PR. I think when you can publish thousands of articles and in the end you will not make a difference or you will not be reminded about, like, you will not be remembered by something. Um, and then the PR that brings this credibility and visibility, it has an aim to position your company among other company leaders. And when you can comment on the market, when you can bring your deep opinion about something that is happening and how you're solving some problems, or when you can highlight the problem on the market that is really painful and you has something to tell about it,
You
it
have
will
a
attract a
solution.
lot of attention. And it's exactly like it's very different from when you're just talking about the products that you are launching
Right.
or like
Right.
yeah.
I think this reminds me of a conversation that we've had with several journalists on this podcast about how sometimes founders or companies just want to talk about their product.
Yeah.
They just want to talk about this super great new feature, but it's not always super relevant for the audience. Whereas when you focus on the specific problem and the solution you're bringing, this is when you're going to get
Yeah.
attention. And also focusing on the media that you're targeting, because as you said before, not all media have the same niches. So this understanding is very important, right?
Exactly. I also think that it's not only about PR. When you will open the website of some company, it will start with like, we are 10 years in the market, when we did so many good things and we are cool and we're the best here and there. You don't have time to like read about the company that is so cool. They need to speak with you. And same with the conferences. I think that you noticed you attended a lot of them. When there is a keynote, it's so easy to lose the attention of the people during the first like 10 seconds when you'll start. Because if you start with speaking about yourself and how cool you are, you will
You don't make it relevant for people. People cannot
will
connect with this.
find, like
Okay.
lunch somewhere, like, or a coffee, or they will go and do networking because they will think that they don't want to spend time listening about how cool you are. So I think that it's relevant to every communication channel out there, starting from the conference stage and ending with a social media post. You need to have this target audience in your head. Like, who are you speaking with? And this is exactly how media operate. They want these stories that will speak to these people, and you need to have a portrait of this person who you target, whether it's a mass audience representative or it's a business representative. You need to understand who is that Alex. Let's say, like, let's call him Alex. I don't know. And he live he lives his normal life and he does a lot of things, and you need to know them. Like, you need to understand where he goes, like what he buys in his normal life, and where your product sits in his life. And then you will be able to do a good communication, including PR, because this Alex read news or like he's following some channels. But also you can do like outdoor ads, or you can catch him on the conferences that he attend, or all of the other things like with the social media is the same. So just like targeting some specific person is very important, I
Right.
think, in every communication channel that
Yeah.
you use as a company.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Understanding your customers, I think, the base of every single business endeavor. And now that we talked about what is very important, I would like you to talk about the ways that you've seen companies damage their reputation unknowingly, because you've worked with a lot of them. And what are the things that they do that they don't know that it's bad, but it actually damages their communication strategies, their reputation. Maybe not the reputation as in, you have to save them from a crisis, like you've mentioned before, but like in general.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's important to repeat that focusing on the company will not lead you, will not lead you to great success, unfortunately, because you need to go out of the bubble of the company that you're building and have a look at the market, because you want the market to buy your products. So this is the first one. The other one, I think there is a lot of cases where the company's team is not aligned internally, and this is very important for communication. You need to understand what you want to communicate, and also to be able to connect these people internally to have a common vision of what they're building and for whom. And also, like, you need to focus on something. So, like, building everything for everyone will not work. Having a lot of focuses means that you don't have focus at all.
Right.
So, I think that identifying, like, maybe a few niches that you want to work with, or like having a few target audiences, but very specific ones, same as having narratives written for the company that you push through all of the channels. Like, especially, yeah, like if we speak about communications in general, it's very important to have common language and common things that you deliver through different channels. And it's very big mistake when, like, your TikTok says one thing, your website delivers another thing,
Right.
and then with PR you go for something else. So people need to meet your company in all of these different channels, and they have to have this one
A
picture,
consistent
like,
message.
yeah, this one image around your company that
Right.
you will deliver through this message.
When you talk about, so your second point was about the internal alignment. Do you have a case where it was not the case and you worked in the company and you felt this kind of lack of alignment, and what did it look like?
Yeah, so it can be anything from operational complexity when you've got, let's say, an approval from one person, and in the end you realize that other person is not happy with that wording that you used, or the narrative that you approved for the company. It's not aligned with how these people think about the company, of what they're building. Um, Also, it can be something exact, like, honestly, it wasn't my case, but I heard a lot um cases like that from my team members, that, for example, if crisis is happening, then the founder can go and post something reacting to the crisis on their social media without aligning on the message and communication plan with their internal team. And it can harm the reputation of the company a lot, because especially when crisis is happening, you need to have this strong,
Yeah.
like,
Have a tight story,
yeah,
basically.
you have to have a story to tell, and you also have to have a plan, like what goes after what. And yeah, this is exactly where the reputation can be questioned
Okay,
by
I
the
see.
public.
Let's talk a little bit more about the future of PR, because with the rise of AI generated
Mm.
content, AI sponsored content, how do you see the the changes that it will mean for the media industry in general and for the PR industry specifically?
I can tell you that this is one of the most challenging questions that I have, and we are discussing this a lot with our team. Um, I'm not afraid of AI, and I'm also looking forward to the future where we can pitch AI, which makes me excited or like interested about how
He wants to
whole
pitch
thing.
to AIs.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like if we will be in that situation when we will need to pitch AI, I'm really interested to see how it
How
will
it's gonna
look
work.
like how it's gonna work. And I was also thinking about the tool that I could develop for this new.
All right.
pitch
So you're already thinking a few steps
I'm
ahead.
thinking about this. Yeah, but honestly, I think that media is experimenting with AI. A lot of them are implementing AI to write the content or to produce the news recaps of the day or something like that. And I'm sure that in some form it will exist in media, but this is exactly why we will need still good reporters, good editors that will write their content and it will be consumed by people because now AI content is everywhere. We are all overwhelmed with number of content and also we can spot it easily, I think.
For now.
Yes, but that's why I believe these deep researches and people with faces, with their stories, with very specific niches that they cover or very specific points of view, they will get even more attention
Right.
from the public because otherwise, like I can see the future when the journalism will disappear or the media will not tell their stories like they do right now. I still believe that journalism is a very important and very trustworthy source of information, and it will like still be the same. Maybe the formats will change in terms of like the number of words that will be published, or maybe we'll have even more print media out there because now a lot of people want to go back to analog
Journals.
papers, like papers. If we speak about print media, yeah, but yeah, I think that AI will be used by media, but we will still need good journalists, and for companies, third-party validation will be the thing.
What do you think that strong communications team will have to do differently in order to adapt to these changes?
I think in terms of implementing AI, everyone can do that and they can do whatever they want if they see it's suitable for different needs of the company. The easiest thing to do is to optimize the processes that take a lot of time from the team. Um, but if you speak about the communication teams in general and what to do in order to stay relevant, I think that first they need to invest and go back and think about the narratives that we started with. Like, what are the beliefs of your company that you want to push? What are the statements that you want to bring to the market? What are the niches that you want to work in? So, again, like not focus on the product, go and see what your competitors are doing
Yeah.
and how to be among them, how to stay visible and draft and prepare and approve those narratives that you want to own even on the market, and also the multi-channel approach. This one is very important to see where your audience sits and then make sure that you do your job presenting your company in every channel where you can catch the attention of the
Right.
public
Right.
that you target.
Okay, thank you so much for this. I want to ask you a couple more questions about personal brand because although this is not something that we discussed before, I know that you're also building a strong personal brand for yourself. And you've even delivered a very cool workshop back in Cannes, I remember last year.
Yeah.
For people who are trying to build their own
Mhm.
personal brands, what are the 3 tips that they should follow?
3 tips. I think it's consistency, which is connected to discipline. This is the first one. And I see that most of the founders, even if they have some thoughts to share with the audience, this is the moment where everything goes wrong because they just can't find the time to be disciplined enough to publish that content. So you need to have notifications. You need to wipe code the tool that will remind you to post the content. You need to have your
Schedule
block in your calendar where you will take care about your socials.
Okay.
Something like that, like anything that will work for you, but you need to be disciplined and consistent with the content and presence.
Okay. Discipline.
Another one is this foundation, the beliefs that you have as a person. I think that's something that a lot of people do, especially in tech or crypto. They switch the narrative so fast, so you can't understand and you can't relate to them because you don't know like what is behind all of these things that they're communicating. So I think just writing down a few things that you believe in, even though if you will change the company tomorrow or you will start building something else, as a people, we have all of these beliefs and values.
Core beliefs.
Yeah, and I think that this is something that you need to have written just to remind yourself that this is something that people that will follow you for years will relate to. And then they will support you throughout all of these years and your journey. I think the third one would be the audience that you want to target as well and what you want them to go with or how to interact with you. There should be some kind of CTA, which is not like visible, the call to action. And you need to understand who you are talking with and what are their pain points, what they want to solve or what they're thinking about, what are the challenges that they have. So yeah, like understanding the audience, their needs, and like what you want them to do with you. Like
A lot of things.
Yeah, it's also important to understand.
Okay.
But the other one, actually, like I have the fourth thing. I met a few people that would understand that they need personal brand, but when we were speaking with them, they didn't realize like for what, like what are the main purpose for them to have that personal brand. And I think that answering that question will help you to be consistent with what when you were like what we discussed. So what will motivate you to produce that content and to stay active building your personal brand? Do you want to be advisor for somebody, or you want Nike or Dior to send you clothes?
Products.
Yeah, or like to be invited to some conferences to speak, or you want to get paid for something, or you want to share your knowledge and being paid for it. So anything that you can imagine as a goal for you to produce their content, or maybe it will be like higher tier partnerships or maybe the connections with people from the industry. So it can be anything, but I think also like identifying that goals will help a lot with the consistency because we all know that you need a personal brand and we all want to be visible and active and disciplined. But without having those goals, without like repeating them for yourself, like I'm doing this because I'm dreaming for Chanel bag that will come to me one day.
I feel like they're really doing well.
So one of the things that I would imagine as a goal for myself.
Yeah. Or maybe a company for. I was gonna say, I don't know if there are even such companies, but when I think about something that you might want, I always think about the tree in your house, like company that could design this.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I want to have a house with a tree inside. Yeah.
What are some practical ways that communication teams can use AI to streamline their work without losing quality, judgment, or, anything like this?
So one thing that is very obvious is to use AI to do research. And of course, this is a great way how to use it because we know that it allows us to gather a lot of information and produce some amazing results in very fast speed. So you don't need to spend a lot of time to doing that. It will just bring the data that you will then use to do great communication. But also, I can share the example how we use the AI internally, which is already optimizing so many processes internally. And I think that every communications, and not only communications, but every team can do that. With vibe coding available, you can vibe code the dashboard that will help to optimize any process that you have and you feel that is getting time from your team members that could do the job that needs to be done in a quality way and bring amazing results. So speaking about our agency and PR specifically, we built the tool that is already optimizing some of the processes for 70% for the team. It allows us to have a full visibility on clients' profiles that we have. And to be honest, I'm not sure about all of the agencies out there, but usually you have so many documents to monitor to be able to understand what clients want to speak about and how they want to be presented, and also the bias of the speakers, and also the process of the KPIs tracking. So this all is now optimized and tracked by AI, which gives us an opportunity to focus on more important things, especially for the PR team. So what they need to do is to build great relationships with journalists that will then lead to great coverage for our clients. And also they can spend more time to do in-depth research using AI, of course, but also having
Yeah,
a human
double
touch.
checking and using their critical judgment.
Yeah, and also like analyzing what journalists are publishing and how to make pitch appealing to them to make it win and have a great coverage. But they do not need to spend time right now to track the process themselves and do a lot of things that took time from them. And also, the tool can allow them to monitor the news agenda for different clients, which is also a game changer for us because when you do news jacking and you want your clients to participate in market conversations and be able
Absolutely.
to share their opinions, you want to understand what's going on in the market and how your client like can be
Position himself.
positioned in the
Rehearsal.
conversation. Yeah. So that's what we've built internally already, and it gives us an amazing opportunity to just use this AI to like get that visibility on the news that we want to monitor, and also to come up with the ideas that work in the end.
Right. So basically, it took away a lot of the time that was spent on processes and repetitive tasks in order to
Yes.
give you more time to focus on quality work and
Exactly.
critical work and
Yes.
creativity and relationship bonding
Yeah.
with journalists. So
Something that AI can't do for us.
exactly. Okay, thank you so much, Nastya. It was very informative, and a pleasure to have you as
Yes.
always with me here. And
So
before we
much.
finish, you know the tradition.
Yes.
You're gonna have flash questions.
Ready.
No need to explain the concept to you. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Founders-led brand or company-led brand?
Founders-led brand.
In-house PR team or agency?
Agency, of
Of
course.
course. Panel or keynote?
Panel.
Okay. Research report or opinion piece?
Report.
One tier one feature or 25 smaller publications?
The first one. Tier 1.
Reputation or reach?
Reputation, of course.
Niche audience or broad market appeal?
Niche.
Consistency or credibility?
Credibility.
Thank you so much, Nastya.
Thank you, Stella.
This was Known. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.